What is going on, everybody? The Daily Ticket, Friday morning, where your Detroit Lions are 1-0. I'm actually sitting in the very spot where I watched the Lions take out the world champion Chiefs 21-20 in a game that I don't think anybody thought the Lions would win. And then, of course, it got a little easier because there was no Chris Jones on the defensive side for the Chiefs, and there was no Travis Kelce on the offensive side for the Chiefs. But there's this interesting narrative going on, and I don't quite understand it. I wanted to hit on that first. I did guarantee a victory, by the way, people. Do you remember that? I guaranteed a victory. I said if the Lions don't win, which, by the way, the game was in question for quite some time, you got to decide my punishment. After this podcast, after I'm done talking Lions, I got to tell you the dirty things people wanted me to do if the Lions would have lost the game. Thank God I wasn't wrong. Guarantee worked out. Lions 1-0, Chiefs 0-1. But let's get to it, shall we? Because there is something that's going on that kind of rubs me the wrong way. Mike Tirico is awesome. Did the game for NBC. After the game yesterday, he decided to say this is going to be an asterisk as far as the win for the Lions because Chris Jones and Travis Kelce didn't play. I love Tirico. I think he does a great job. That's utterly ridiculous, though. Let me get this straight. Injuries happen in the NFL all the time. Holdouts happen in the NFL all the time. But the Lions are lucky. Every other team that gets to go against an injured team, they deserve that win? Is that what we're led to believe? Like, how many times have the Lions been screwed? Flat out screwed. In Seattle, KJ Wright, the fumble. Calvin fumbles at the goal line. Lions should have won the game. They didn't. Is Seattle lucky? No, it was a win for Seattle. What about in Chicago? Complete the process. Calvin Johnson. Lions should have won that game. They didn't. Didn't know what a catch was. Were the Bears lucky? No, they won the football game. What about the game against Atlanta? Golden Tate, 10-second runoff. Were the Falcons lucky? No, they won the football game. Like, I do find it funny that the Lions have been on the wrong end of the stick for such a long freaking time. Teams have beat up on them. Teams have got lucky against them. The NFL has changed rules because the Lions have been screwed and the Lions have lost those games. And never has the narrative been from the other side. Well, they got lucky. But now let me get this straight because Chris Jones is holding out. And yeah, the Chiefs could have used him. And Travis Kelce couldn't play because of a hyperextended knee. Yeah, the Chiefs could have used him. The Lions are lucky. And there should be an asterisk by this victory. That's preposterous. It's ridiculous. It's got to stop. Listen, I've had my fair share of fun by bashing the Lions over the years when they deserved it. I revel in SOL and some of the ways that they've lost. But give credit to where credit is due. The Lions went into Arrowhead last night against the defending champs and beat them. There's no asterisk. It's not luck. It's 1-0. And you win enough of these, you go to the postseason. And you go to the postseason, you got a shot at the big game, the Super Bowl, which, by the way, it doesn't seem so funny anymore. Usually you say Lions and Super Bowl, you want to laugh a little bit. You don't want to laugh now. Maybe it seems reasonable. I don't know. We got to see more. But if the Lions have a nice season and do things that they haven't done in quite some time, you think people are going to be like, well, go back to that first game against the Kansas City Chiefs, though. I got lucky. They got lucky. Now, did fortune help the Lions? Sure. Aiden Hutchinson, after the game to Scott Van Pelt on ESPN, made reference to the Chiefs missing some guys. Cool. But that's what happens in football, guys. That's what happens. You know, Kadarius Toney dropped like 5 balls for the Chiefs. It was lucky, sure. Doesn't change the fact that the Lions won the game and overcame some adversity themselves. So we got to quit with the nonsense of the luck. We got to quit with, well, it wasn't even a real win, guys. It's asinine. What are you going to give the Chiefs a moral victory because they could compete without Travis Kelce and Chris Jones? I think Tirico is great at what he does. But that comment, whether he meant it like it sounded or not, and he's a big advocate for Michigan, he lives in Ann Arbor, he's a great guy. But that comment right there, After the Lions win the biggest game of, I don't know, the last decade maybe, that rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't like it at all. Not at all. The big win for the Lions. A huge win for the Lions. And after an offseason of so much hype and optimism and hope, you know what? They backed it up last night. They proved that they belong. So enough with the luck crap. It's ridiculous. All right. Got that out of the way. You did watch the game, though. And now that you watch the game, do you believe that this game means that the Lions are different? There were so many big plays in this game. And then the Lions also kind of looked like themselves for a little bit, too. Like the bad Lions. Like some of the stuff that stuck out about this football game. Number one, let's start with the good, shall we? Aiden Hutchinson was unbelievable, just unreal. He was everywhere on the football field. And if it wasn't for Chiefs right tackle Jawan Taylor holding him most of the night, lining up, by the way, totally in the wrong position, false starting damn near every play, Aiden would have put Mahomes on his butt even more than he did. Now, he didn't get a sack, and he wasn't really on the stat sheet, but there was pressure, pressure, pressure on the reigning MVP. And by the way, did you see what happened with Jawan Taylor? NBC was all over it. I mean, Chris Collinsworth and company, they were joking about it. Pro Football Talk called it embarrassing. In case you missed it, Chiefs right tackle Jawan Taylor, who's new to the team this year, he lines up in the wrong spot. That should have been a penalty. He jumps early every play. That should be false start. Happened all the time. Some people are going to say, well, that's just how tackles play. Other people are going to say, like NBC did, you know what? It was unfair. And the rules analyst, and he flat out said it was an unfair advantage for Taylor over Aiden Hutchinson. And it was a little infuriating. However, at the very end of the game, after not calling Jawan Taylor all game long for false start, they finally called him for false start when the Chiefs were trying to come back down a point in the weaning seconds of the football game. That felt good. Every Lions fan were like, finally. Where was that the entire game? But Aiden was remarkable, just outstanding. He was great last night, and a big reason why the Lions come away with the victory. Other stuff that stuck out to me. I thought Jared Goff was okay. Just okay. But when he needed to be great, he was. There was a play in the third quarter. Lions offense didn't move the ball at all. They had 7 points. They're down to the Chiefs by 6. Felt like the game was getting away from them. Sputtering offensively. Next thing you know, you're looking at a 3rd and 7, Lions false start. Brutal. Looking at a 3rd and 12. And then Jared Goff with a beautiful throw hits Josh Reynolds for a first down. 6 plays later, the Lions are in the end zone. New Lion David Montgomery, 8-yard touchdown run. Lions take the lead 21-20 and never relinquished it. That was a huge play. I don't think Goff was great. I don't think the Lions were great. They played maybe a C-plus game, but found a way to come away with a victory. You got to feel pretty damn good about that. I think Detroit's going to love Jahmyr Gibbs. He was unreal when he got to play. 40 yards rushing, 18 yards receiving. Just some unreal cuts. Great versatility, great speed. Jahmyr Gibbs is a find. And it's funny because a lot of people went at Brad Holmes and said, why'd you take a running back in the first round? I think you see why you took a running back in the first round. And he's more than a running back, by the way. They said, hey, why'd you take a linebacker so early in the draft? Jack Campbell was pretty good yesterday. Made some pretty big time plays, including a nice pass deflection on a throw to Kadarius Toney. And that was an athletic play. He ran about 20 yards. He's a big dude. Made a play. He looks like that was a good pick. And then how about Sam Laporta, the tight end from Iowa? Took him early as well. He dropped the ball in the preseason and nobody let him forget it. Well, last night, he was a great blocker. 5 catches. Targeted 5 times, made every one of them, some of them a high degree of difficulty. So the new guys for the Lions and Laporta, Jack Campbell, Jahmyr Gibbs. I've acted impressed. And they're only going to get better. They're only going to get better. It was a great win for the Lions. And the funny thing was, for a while there, it looked like the Lions were going to lose in typical Lions fashion. Go back to the start of this game. The Lions led 7-0. And they led, by the way, because Dan Campbell had the guts on his own 18-yard line to call a fake punt. 4th and 2, misdirection to Jalen Reeves-Maben. Fake punt. Chiefs sniff it out, which they had no chance to. But if they sniff it out, the Lions are like back on their own 18, or make that the Chiefs take over the ball at the 18. And the Lions are probably sunk early on, right? Doesn't matter. Campbell found a way. Offense found a way. Specialty teams found a way. That's what the Lions did last night. They found a way, and you should feel pretty damn good about them finding a way. But there was a course of the game where they didn't look great. In fact, I was a little worried that they were going back to same old Lions behavior. In the span of 3 plays, they fumbled twice. Brock Wright got in the middle of Ragnow trying to snap the ball to Jared Goff. Goff was able to recover the ball, lost about 10 yards. The next play, they gained 10 yards. So you're looking at a 3rd and 10. And then Marvin Jones, who, by the way, had a bad game. First game, 33-year-old Marvin Jones. Good to have him back, but he had a bad game. He's got to pick that up. But he fumbled the football. Lions turned over the football in the Chiefs' red zone. And then they gave up a 3rd and 17 when the Chiefs were on offense. I mean, that was typical Lions bad play. But you know what happened? They found a way to recover from that. They did. And I know what people are going to say. People are going to say, well, they only recovered because Kadarius Toney dropped the ball so many times. And you're right. If it wasn't for Kadarius Toney dropping the ball 5 times, was it? He had an awful day at the office, poor guy. But a ball deflected right off him. Brian Branch was able to corral the ball, pick 6 it the other way. Brian Branch, by the way, another young guy we didn't mention, early draft pick in the 2nd round. He was outstanding, had a pick 6. Another good Brad Holmes pick. We all liked that pick when it happened. We liked the pick and we love the pick 6, right? But the pick 6 was huge. Tied the game at 14. Chiefs tacked on a couple of field goals. Lions defense bend but not break. And then when it really mattered the most, Goff to Reynolds, and the Lions find a way to score a touchdown. But to me, the biggest reason why the Lions might be different, the biggest reason, at least to me, was what happened late in the game. Late in the game, there's 2 minutes and 33 seconds left. Lions are up by a point. 1 point, 21-20. The Chiefs were 0 for 7 on 3rd downs in the second half. Lions are on the 45-yard line of the Chiefs. And I'm thinking punt the ball. Punt the ball and make Patrick Mahomes without Travis Kelce and a bunch of receivers dropping the ball, Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney. Make them go the distance. Make them go the distance. Didn't. For some reason or another, Dan Campbell said, listen, if I'm going to fake punt the ball on my own 19, 18-yard line, I'm going to go for it on 4th and 2. For some reason, he decided not to run the football. They passed the football, incomplete pass, Josh Reynolds from Jared Goff, and the Chiefs take over. And Mahomes then did his thing. From their own 45-yard line, needing, 30 yards to get the game-winning field goal, time ticking. Both teams had all their timeouts. Mahomes lofted a pass, and Toney flat out dropped it. Flat out dropped it. You're going to call that luck? Sure, call it luck. But who cares? Chiefs unable to do anything that drive. Usually, Lions turn over the ball to Patrick Mahomes or really anybody, and the other team's going to march down the field and score. Last night, the biggest thing that proved the Lions were different, at least to me, they gave Patrick Mahomes, the reigning MVP, and the Chiefs, the reigning Super Bowl champs, the ball on their own 45-yard line. And they found a way not to give up any points with a 1-point lead. And they come away with the biggest victory maybe in over a decade. Just an unreal win for the Lions. So if you want to go back to the initial narrative that we started this podcast with, give the Lions credit. Don't play in this garbage luck stuff because it's freaking nonsense. Was there luck involved? Sure. Was that the reason they won the football game? No. And if you say it was, you're discrediting the Lions. You know what happened? The Lions proved to you in the offseason that they're a deep team and that they can handle some adversity. And what happened? Their deep team handled adversity. They played a C plus game. That was by no means the Lions' best game that you're going to see all season long. They found a way to win. Kadarius Toney helped. Sure. Sky Moore helped. But give the Lions some credit. Man, I didn't realize I was going to be this fired up about this. And I actually, full disclosure, did a podcast last night and I decided to scrap it because I heard the Tirico comment, which at the time I didn't hear it when it was live, and it just irritates the crap out of me. The Lions have been the laughing stock. They've been the shoe, or the gum rather, on people's shoe for years and years and years. And now that they go into Arrowhead and beat the defending champs, you want to say it was all luck. Nonsense. Absolutely nonsense. So let me know what you think. Comment section below. You watched the game. You're probably a Lions fan. You should be fired up. Hopefully, you took the day off. You're partying all today. By the way, how many Lions fans were in Kansas City? That was awesome to see. But what do you think of the people like Tirico and others that say, we're not giving you any credit? Luck. They didn't have Kelsey. They didn't have Jones. See, Kadarius Toney dropped the ball. He just did it again. Oh, luck. Lions aren't a good team. It's all luck. You got to stop with that. But do you buy into it? Comment section below. Let me know. What did I miss? I don't think much. It's a big win for the Lions on the biggest stage. Now they got to do it 10 days from now when they go back home and they take on the Seattle Seahawks, who will be on shorter rest. I thought Jared Goff was okay last night, but was great when he needed to be. I thought Amon-Ra St. Brown was great in the first half. Chiefs did a nice job of bottling him up in the second half. I thought Cam Sutton didn't show up as much as I thought he might. Had the big DPI, but that's okay. You won the game. It doesn't matter. Brian Branch went to the locker room. Hopefully he's okay. David Montgomery, 74 yards rushing and a touchdown. 8-yard touchdown, the go-ahead touchdown. I think he's going to be a great find for the Lions. Did I miss anything else? I don't think so. That was a huge win for the Lions. It wasn't pretty. Wasn't the best well-played game I've ever seen. But that's a massive win for the Lions. And stop with the luck crap. Just stop it. Anyway, let me get to something else before we let you go. Because I did guarantee a victory. I guaranteed a victory, and usually in my life, people, my guarantees really don't pay off. I say stuff all the time, a lot of bad takes, a lot of stupid stuff. All the time, I say stuff. Usually it doesn't happen. But I was pretty confident the Lions were going to win this game for a lot of the reasons that I illustrated in podcasts that we did leading up to this point. And yes, a lot of it was that the Chiefs were missing some guys. But this game was a heck of a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. And the Lions did a real nice job of facing some adversity, fighting through it, being a deep team, and winning the ball game and going to 1-0, right? But I guaranteed victory. I was so confident that I said, if the Lions don't win, you get to choose my punishment. And you all jumped aboard. And I appreciate that. I do. Because in the comment section, there was all kinds of suggestions of what I should have to do if the Lions lost. Let me read a couple of these to you because they're pretty great. And it would have truly sucked to have to do it. The first comment was I had to do a smoker's cough. Do you know what a smoker's cough is? It's a shot. Jaeger, where you take a glob of mayonnaise, you drop it in there, and you got to do the shot. I would have done it. I've done it before, believe it or not. On a stream, believe it or not. We did a Matt Stafford cast. And since Stafford won a playoff game, something I didn't think he was capable of, I had to do that very shot. So I would have done it again. But the Lions win, so I don't have to. Another guy said I should pick 5 random people that follow the podcast and give them each $100. That's a little too pricey for me. I don't think I would have wanted to do that one. Somebody else said that I should have shaved my head. I like my hair though. It looks pretty bad right now. Bald spot right there. Right there, you see that? I'll zoom in. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I still am holding out hope. Ooh, it looks pretty bad there. Yeah. I am still holding out hope that my hair, I don't know, one day looks great again. So I didn't want to shave my head. Although they say when you shave it, it grows back better. But somebody wanted me to do that. And then the best suggestion I got was you should eat dog food, which I've never done before. But I have a dog. Her name is Bouncy. She's 12. She's a shug. She's a shepherd pug. I would have gladly taken some of her soft food, mixed it with some of her solid food. She's got both food. She's an older dog. What are you going to do? And I would have downed that for you people. I would have downed it because I would have been wrong. And I was almost wrong. But it doesn't matter because the Lions found a way to win the football game. So I have good news for you. I will make other guarantees. I will be wrong. And more than likely, in the lifespan of this podcast, the daily ticket, I'm sure I'm going to be eating some dog food or doing a smoker's cough. But not today. I go into the weekend not having to do any of that disgusting stuff. So, guys, it's been fun. I did not think that the biggest Lions victory in really over a decade was going to be overshadowed by this luck garbage that everybody is spewing. But I was so fired up this morning, I just had to scrap the old podcast and come on and yell about it today. So it's a major win for the Lions. It's huge. Kudos to me for not having to do gross stuff, getting the guarantee right. Bet some money on it too. Took the Lions money line, so I'm going to have a good weekend. And then we have college football and pro football, and we'll join you on Monday. But comment section below, do you buy into the luck narrative? Tell me. Let me know. And also, if you have other suggestions of stuff I would have had to do if the Lions would have lost, I'll take those as well. It's the Daily Ticket. Please subscribe, react, rate, review, everything you do with the podcast. Get it everywhere you get the podcast. Guys, it's been a pleasure. I enjoy it as always. We'll catch you bright and early on Monday. The Lions are the best team in football. Think about that. Think about that. Catch you next time. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the football. See ya.